The Hyenidae is a family in the order Carnivora, consisting of only 4 extant species: the striped hyena, the brown hyena, the spotted hyena, and the aardwolf. They are one of the smallest families in the Mammalia class and 5th smallest in the Carnivora order. Though morphologically and physiologically resembling canines, they are part of the Feliforma suborder due to phylogeny. Like canines, Hyenidae are built for running and hunting solely on land instead of inhabiting the trees. Their feet are adapted for this by being calloused with large, blunt, non-retractable claws and having a digitigrade stance. Behaviors such as scent marking, mating, and grooming are consistent to feliforms. The family once contained 3 subfamilies with 19 genuses. There are 4 extant species which are distributed throughout Africa, Southwest Asia, and India. Scientists use the craniodental features when characterizing hyenids. Werdelin and Soleunius include all species possessing a posteriorly expanded ectotympanic bone and reduced caudal endotympanic bone in the ear. In this skulls, true hyenas lack at least phonoids, canals, and divided auditory bullae like other feloids. Bone-crushing hyenas have massive jaws with large premolars and molars. The dentition is robust, signifying less generalized diets. Its adapted digestive system allowing the regurgitation of hooves and horns. They are specialized in pulverizing hard bones to extract sufficient nutrients the hyena needs easily and taking down prey larger than itself. They have a distinctive gnaw damage to limb bones which allows paleontologists to differentiate between taxa. Aardwolves have reduced cheek teeth due to their largely insectivore diet. Fossil records of hyenids appeared in 18 to 17 million years ago during early epoch period arising in Eurasia, with the earliest specimen located in France. 18 million years ago of evolutionary history occurred for the development of the modern hyena. In Eurasian jungles, the earliest Hyenidae were believed to be civet-like, occupying omnivore and insectivore niches due to fossil finds with generalized dentition. Protectitherium has skeletons adapted for arboreal lifestyles like other feliforms with retractable claws, while the Pleovirops had non-retractable claws. Retractability was lost during subsequent evolutions. The first great radiation of Hyenidae brought about dog-like forms during the early Miocene. A form of dog-like Hyenidae known as the hunting hyena arose during the late Miocene, which were larger than their ancestors. Enhanced cursorial ability for hunting and possessed teeth, with extended dentition specialized for cutting as slicing instead of bone crushing. Hyenidae spread rather rapidly throughout before reaching Africa, with the oldest specimens only dating about 14 million years ago. A second great hyena radiation brought with the rise of the bone-cracking hyena. The first bone-cracking hyena, Adcrucuta eximia, doesn't appear in fossil records to the late Miocene, bearing resemblance to the modern hyenas. The peak species diversity was around 11 to 7 million years ago, with different species occupying vast niches. Lineage split in favor of bone-crushing around the late Miocene period. During the late Miocene era, waves of extinction occurred mainly into dog and civet-like hyenas. Dog-like hyena declined 5 to 7 million years ago throughout Eurasia due to climate change, exacerbated by the arrival of canids suited to the colder environments. Most died out by 1.5 million years ago. Bone-cracking hyenas were able to survive the harsher weather due to their bulkier builds and extra fur for insulation. By 5 million years ago, these hyenids became the most dominant scavengers in Eurasia, like the lion-sized Paracrucuta brevistustus, a predecessor to the modern spotted hyena. The Pachycrocuta brevistustus, aka giant hyena, was 3 times the weight of the crocuta, weighing at 150 kilograms. It resembled that of the saber-toothed tiger. Pachycrocuta lived approximately 3 million to 500,000 years ago. It was a true carnivore. However, its short limbs prevented the Pachycrocuta running long distances to chase prey, so instead scavenged. Its teeth and jaws were so powerful that they were able to crack elephant bones. Their larger build allowed for the reduction of competition from other scavengers, allowing greatest chance of successful feeds. Furthermore, they were able to steal prey from other small predators by sheer strength. The giant hyena also had a slower heart rate and slower metabolism, presumed to allow for greater time between meals to survive longer in food scarcities. The Pachycrocuta brevistustus relied solely the saber-toothed tiger as its main source of food. However, the end of an ice age brought about decline of large herbivores. Without the saber-toothed tigers for scavenging and less meat available, the giant hyenas were gradually replaced. Instead, the small crocuta became successful in the warmer weather as it was agile enough to hunt if needed. Another set of extinction waves and the changing climate caused most bone-crushing hyenas to become extinct before the end of the Pleistocene era. The 4 extant genera of hyenids apparently all originated in Africa, and the extant species paleontological and molecular studies show the aardwolf divergent from other hyenas 15 to 32 million years ago, being the earliest species. The spotted hyena diverged about 10 million years ago, while the brown and striped hyena split only 6 million years ago, being the closest relatives in the Hyenidae.
The aardwolf, Protellus cristata, is the sole surviving species of the Protellinae subfamily of small dog-like hyenas. They diverged from the Hyenidae relatively early, directly aligned with the Paleovirups around 50 million years ago. They do not appear in the fossil records until the Pleistocene era. Its name came about from their complete set of 5 toes on the front and mane down the midline of the neck used in defense. Aardwolves resemble very thin striped hyenas, being around 50 to 80 centimeters long, with more slender nostrils. They also have 2 anal glands used in marking and communication. Unlike other hyenas, aardwolves do not have the distinct throat spots. They appear unable to feed efficiently on anything other than the trinovitamins, being the only African termite eater able to tolerate the terpene defense secretions of the soldiers. Coffee suggests that aardwolf evolved from the Paleovirups, filling the termite eater niche largely unexploited by other carnivores during a period of extremely intense competition. To make up for its lack of claws, the aardwolf relies on its tongue and can eat 250,000 termites during a single night. Aardwolves have 2 distinct populations within South Africa and East-Northeast Africa, distributed solely within the open dry plains and bushlands inhabited by the horde of Termitidae, more specifically the Trinovitomes. The aardwolf is territorial, marking every 50 meters when patrolling territorial boundaries. Their territories are 1 to 4 square kilometers, consisting of dozens of abandoned dens. Their dens have less temperature fluctuations compared to the surface ambient temperature, providing a stable environment, aiding aardwolves when rearing young and evading predation. Aardwolves are not solitary animals.
Striped hyenas are mostly dog-like in appearance, however their front legs are considerably longer than their hind legs. When compared to other species of hyena, the striped hyena is smallest in size, and this is likely due to the fact that striped hyenas are scavengers. They forage for bones and carrion, which is decaying animal flesh. This is in contrast to other species, such as the spotted hyena, which actively hunt for their food. This diet has likely driven them to adapt by having a larger head to accommodate for strong jaws, allowing them to crush bone, and their digestive systems are also adapted to obtain the most nutritional value possible from animal remains and uneaten prey left behind by other predators. This species is nocturnal. This means they are mostly active at dawn and dusk and rely on their large ears and sensitive hearing to avoid predators. They also use scent glands to mark their territory, such as caves and dens. Their communication is mostly based on body language, as they are mostly lone creatures and are not likely to be found in packs. Today, striped hyenas are mostly distributed in arid and semi-arid areas. They are spread out over the northeastern African continent, as well as parts of Central Asia and India. Recently, the mitochondrial DNA of striped hyenas were analysed in PCR experiments. The studies showed that there were identical sequences located across vast geographical distances of around 7,000 kilometers. It was concluded that as they have such a low genetic diversity and are distributed across such a wide geographical range, that the migration of striped hyena from Africa to Eurasia must have occurred very rapidly and recently at around 0.13 million years ago, during the Pleistocene period.
The spotted hyena, scientifically named Crocotta crocata, are hyenas that are native to sub-Saharan Africa. They are the most predatory of the hyenas, as they have developed premolars behind their sharp carnassials, which allow them to cut through bone. Most of their prey is migratory, so they usually hunt in groups of 2 to 5 individuals and chase prey over large distances at 60 km per hour. As well as having well-adapted legs and feet, hyenas have relatively large hearts, which constitute 1% of their body weight to increase their endurance. To compare, lions' hearts are only 0.46% of their body weight. After prey is caught, hyenas will often giggle if there is a group of lions that are threatening to steal the food. The giggling sounds attract more hyenas, and communally, they will defend the food. Social standing in a spotted hyena clan is very important, as this dictates which hyenas get priority over certain resources and mates. However, Regardless of social standing, females provide only for their own cubs rather than assist each other, and males display no sign of paternal care whatsoever. It has been thought that female dominance in spotted hyena clans could be an adaptation so that they can successfully compete with males for kills and thus ensure that enough milk is produced for their cubs. When first interacting with each other, spotted hyenas have a social greeting whereby they stand parallel to each other and lift a hind leg, then proceed to sniff or lick the genital area. This is a very ritualized meeting and even occurs between both sexes.